Fall camp was great. A lot of growth and, just really impressed with the job that our guys have done, from a like day by day. And that's what fall camp is, right? It's installation corrections, and developing their skills. So we're a relatively young football team, having lost a good amount of starters. So a lot of competition at the positions across the board for our team. And but it's a real fun group to be around. A lot of energy, competitive, and really excited to see this team, take the field on Thursday night against Duke.
You talk often about you guys being a developmental program, and part of that fun, I guess, is seeing some young guys step up and take their games to the next level. Have you seen that, and is that part of the energy and excitement heading into week one?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That is the fun. Like the amount of energy that we have every time these guys take the field, they are competing with each other, um, and pushing each other. And that's where I've seen the growth, So whether guys are fighting for the starting job or fighting for to be the number two, or fighting for a seat on the bus or for a special teams opportunity, there's been a lot of competition and a lot of growth this fall camp.
We're here with Elon head coach Tony Trisciani. If you have a question for him this morning, just use the chat feature or the raise your hand icon. Tony, let's talk about that team a little bit. Offensively, it always starts with the quarterback situation, and I know you had a battle going into camp. Have you resolved that, and do you know what you're going to do going into Thursday?
Yeah, Landon Clark's got the majority of the one reps here, on the back end of camp. But I do believe that we can win football games with both quarterbacks, really, with Marco Lainez and with Landon Clark. They are both talented. They both have really picked up our offensive scheme and philosophy. Um, and Doug Martin, our offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, has done a great job really just getting those kids comfortable and figuring out what they do well, and how we can maximize, our personnel on the offensive side of the ball.
Got a question this morning from Bob Sutton. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Tony, you mentioned Doug Martin there. How different do you think the offense is going to look? Obviously, you're not giving away how it's going to look, but just how different will it look from the past couple of years?
Yeah, I would say, there's some formations and plays and schemes that may look the same, but we are a different offense, and Doug has done a really good job of really adapting what we want to do to the players that we have. We are a players not plays operation. Doug's done a really good job of that, of moving guys around and being able to take advantage of the skill sets that we have in the offensive room.
One more thing regarding Duke's offense. What have you done to kind of prepare for their new quarterback, who obviously comes in a pretty high-profile addition for their team? And even though you may be familiar with them in a lot of ways from last year, how's that going?
Yeah, great question, Bob. So it's a combination of watching last year's film of who they are systematically on offense. And then it's a matter of watching a lot of Tulane film to get a real good feel for Darian Mensah and what he does well, and what he looks like in the pocket. And so it's really a combination of both. And and you've got some transfer receivers in there, so we've had to go to some other film to see what some of their tendencies look like as well.
Tony, along with the change at quarterback, you've had other skill position changes on offense. Who are some guys that have sort of caught your eye during camp?
Yeah, a lot of growth up front on the offensive line. We had, several sixth-year players, and in last year's group up front. This group is less experienced. They're a little more youthful, but they are hungry, and Alex Stadler's done a great job developing that group. So, really from guard to guard, like I feel like we're as strong and good as we've been. And then, even on the perimeter, Mike Muldrow really has impressed us in his ability to be able to move outside and play on the edge. He's really done a great job, and there's a good amount of competition out there at the tackle spot. So those guys have really stepped up. Feel like we've created some depth at running back, and I feel good about that position with both TJ Thomas and Jamil Williams. So feel good there. Got a veteran tight end um, as well with Dylan Magazoo and some depth at the receiver position.
I know defense is near to your heart. You guys are always a strong defensive team throughout your tenure. You also lost quite a few guys on that side of the ball, but some returnees, especially up front, with some experience. Is the line maybe the strength of that group coming into the season?
Yeah, so we have some experience and youth at all three levels defensively. So when you start up front, Jake Loro is certainly a veteran player. He's a captain. He's played a lot of snaps for us inside. I expect him to be disruptive on the inside. And really, Kamari Brown, he is a talented pass rusher, edge defender. I think he's going to, cause some problems for some people on the edge and pressuring the quarterback. But he's real athletic. He can chase things down in the run game as well. And we've got some older guys who really just haven't been starters, but they're ready to play for us. Dylan Pardue at defensive end, um, as well as Ethan Grace at defensive end. Those guys have both played snaps for us in the past. They've got some experience. Malachi West is a good young defensive end. Inside defensively, Paris Lowry's played a lot of snaps for us, an athletic defensive tackle. So that there is some experience that's certainly in that group. And then at linebacker, like Asher Cunningham, I mean, he came on the last 5 games of the season when we played without Paterno and Tyson. I was really impressed with Asher, and I've been impressed with him during fall camp. Brody Carroll is a transfer. He was a PSAC Rookie of the Year linebacker for Shepherd, and he's done a nice job at linebacker as well. And then on the back end, we have a deep group of talent back there. And so we've moved some guys around to some different spots, but some familiar names that have played a good amount of snaps for us: Ish Atkins, Senquavius, also Brooks, DJ Hamilton, Jesse Powell. Like those guys have played a good amount of snaps for us in the past, and there's some good youth coming up as well. Tony Hart is a safety who's really been impressive to me. He's got good skills. He's physical. He's going to be a really good player for us. So we've got some depth and some hungry football players on the back end.
Last season, you also opened the year at Duke. That was a game that was 3-0 with less than a minute to go to halftime. What are you able to take away from that, both maybe as the game planning, but also just from a confidence level to know that you guys went toe to toe, especially throughout the first half with them?
Yeah. So Duke, I mean, I have a ton of respect for Coach Diaz and the job he has done there. They are a talented football team. He's been able to keep the nucleus of that team together. Even through the portal and all that, and he's added some key pieces. So they are a really good football team. One thing I would say coming out of last year's game is our guys have been there. They've been in that stadium. They know what it's going to look like. They know what the locker room's like. They know that we've been in a position to compete in that football game last year. And you take away a handful of plays and things could have looked different perhaps going into the half and coming out of it. So, our guys have really prepared. They know what we're getting into with Duke. They know they're a really good football team. We're going to have to bring our A game to be successful. We're not going to have to be perfect, okay? But we need to be the best version of Elon for us to compete in that game.
All right, Tony. Thanks so much for the time today. Good luck on Thursday night at Duke.